So when did this happen? When did Marion hurt herself?
I was actually going to watch.
All right. Thank you.
Hello. It's a potato.
Yeah, cool. No, like that.
Sweet potatoes, Carlos. They are sweet potatoes. Ready to eat.
Is this yours or mine?
You can come into my space if you want. Hi, Marcy. Fine, thank you.
There he is.
Hey, good.
So I still take my stuff there. I just make the trip because I know the family. It's husband and wife. They're in the 60s and two sons that are in their 40s. He was riding his bike. They all live near each other. He was riding his bike from his house to his son's house to check on some bees that had infected. The bike died.
Connor Lynch right with my kids. He was a sophomore last week. I was shooting by
I haven't ridden my road bike in 2 years. Only on a trail, yeah, on a trail.
Good. Not on the road.
No.
Definitely.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
Pardon? I don't know.
Would you mind Googling it? I know he's here.
Maybe that helps.
Your grandfather again. Number 6. I had a daughter just a couple days ago, I heard. Is that
Yeah, I
fantastic?
saw him here, so I think he's here for this.
Ah,
I forget his name. I know it's. I'm sure we could Google it real
he's
quick.
like 35. 33. Okay.
Mr. B. Billy Reeves.
Very Very cool.
There you go. Does this sound familiar? And is this recent information?
Yep, that's it. Thanks, Nancy. I don't know if I'm going to be as organized as I usually am. Well, I guess it's time to go though, right? Hey, Andy, how you doing? How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. How you doing, Matt? Pretty good.
Yes, how about you?
Are we all ready?
For whatever reason.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City Commission meeting of Monday, March 4th. At this time, I would like to ask Pastor Terry Rowland from Bayside Community Church to please come forward to lead us in the invocation. So if everyone would please stand up and then remain standing for the pledge to the flag.
Let's pray together. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today before this commission meeting, we come with hearts, first of all, filled with gratitude and minds open to your wisdom. We acknowledge your presence in the midst of us here today, and we ask your guidance in the discussions and decisions that affect our community. Grant us, O Lord, a spirit of discernment as we navigate the complexities of governance with clarity and compassion. Help us to listen attentively to the voice of others, considering one another's needs and aspirations as we strive to serve faithfully. We ask for your protection over our city, its residents, and all those who work tirelessly to uphold its well-being. Shield us from harm, both seen and unseen, and grant us the courage to confront challenge with resilience and with grace. May your truthful and righteous light shine upon this gathering. May our actions reflect your love and justice, fostering unity among all who call Safety Harbor home. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. I don't even have to call you up.
No, sir.
Yeah, you know, I guess you read the agenda.
Good.
Take it away.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Back to continue our Safety Harbor Fire Department story this evening and announce our firefighters of the year for 2023, which happens to be from my favorite shift, Truck 53 C shift. So if we could bring up Captain Joey Hands, firefighter paramedic Charles Russell, and firefighter paramedic Julio Marty Castillo, please. Our firefighters of the year recipients. So Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd just like to read why they were nominated, and it had to do with a call, and talk about their heroic efforts on August 31st, 2023. On that date, Safety Harbor Fire Department Truck 53 responded to Countryside High School for reports of a stabbed student. Aboard Truck 53 were Captain Paramedic Joseph Hands, Firefighter Paramedic Charles Russell, and Firefighter Paramedic Julio Marty Castillo. While responding to this incident, further reports indicated an additional student had also been stabbed for a total of 2 possible patients. Once Clearwater PD cleared the scene for safety, Truck 53 entered the school and Captain Hands was immediately met by 2 Clearwater police officers who stated that one student was injured in the school common area and another injured student was being brought to the same area. Upon arrival in the common area, Truck 53 found one patient on the ground with an apparent puncture stab wound. Captain Hands assigned firefighter paramedic Marty Castillo as the lead paramedic on this patient, who began a rapid assessment of the victim. Following his assessment, firefighter paramedic Marty Castillo determined the patient to be a trauma alert. The patient's life-threatening wounds were quickly addressed and managed by firefighter paramedic Marty Castillo, and the moment a Sunstar ambulance arrived, the patient was rapidly transported to a trauma center. During transport to the trauma center, Julio continued to treat and care for the patient. Once arriving at the emergency room, the patient was immediately rushed to the operating room by hospital staff. While Julio was treating his patient, the crew of Truck 53 was encountered yet again by another victim of the incident. Captain Hands would immediately assign firefighter paramedic Russell to care for this second patient. Firefighter paramedic Russell began a rapid assessment of this patient. He also declared him a trauma alert. Charles, under the continued leadership of Captain Hands, treated the apparent life-threatening injuries and readied the patient for immediate transport once Sunstar arrived on scene. Charles assisted Sunstar during emergency transport of the patient to the trauma center. The patient safely arrived at the emergency room and patient care was transferred to the hospital's trauma team. Both patients recovered and were discharged from the hospital with positive prognoses. The crew of Truck 53, Captain Hands, firefighter Russell, and firefighter Marty Castillo remained calm under pressure, took control of patient management, were advocates of their patient, followed their emergency medical procedures, and represented the city and fire department with dedication and professionalism. The above attributes had direct, if not a total effect on the positive outcome of this terrible incident. Congratulations, Captain Joey Hands, firefighter paramedic Charles Russell, and firefighter paramedic Julio Marty Castillo.
And I just want to say, we all know our firefighters are heroes, but it's clear, we have the utmost appreciation and respect for what you all did that day. You all saved lives. I mean, legitimately saved people's lives, and we owe you a great debt for that. So, thank you very much for what you did that day. It was very impressive.
And Mayor, we have a award there. If you would mind, it's to your left.
Yeah.
There you go. If you want to present that to him, we can get a picture. I just also want to say all that happened in that story I just told you, from the time of the call to the time that story ended was in less than 10 minutes. So.
All right, so now we have a general employee swearing in. So I would like to ask Robert Fuoco, I hope I pronounced that right, and Miriam Campos to come forward now. So everyone, please welcome the city's newest employees, and now I'm going to come down and swear you into your new positions. Why don't we just put it right here? And just repeat after me. I'm going to read it, and I'll tell you what, I'll go slowly so I can read it. You just sound like this. How's that? So I state your name. Repeat after me. So I state.
Say your name.
Well, say your name.
I'm Miriam.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and uphold.
that I will
Support, protect,
protect,
and uphold
and uphold
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Florida,
the Constitution of the State of Florida,
and the Charter and laws
and the charter and laws
of the City of Safety Harbor,
of the City of Safety Harbor,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold the position of,
to hold the position of
and state your position,
recreation leader,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I faithfully perform
the duties of that office
the duties of that office
on which I am now about to enter.
now I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. All right, and now we have a years of service recognition. So at this time, I would like to ask our Code Enforcement Officer, Paul Kales. Sorry, what was I saying? Our IT. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Got confused for a second. To come forward. And we are recognizing you for 5 years of service with the city. And for that, we have this certificate to honor you for that, which I need to sign. And we have a gift certificate for you. So is there anything you'd like to say before wait, do I have something to read? No. Okay. So we're recognizing you.
Yes.
Do you have anything you would like to say before I come down and present this to you?
Been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to many more years.
All righty. That goes without saying. All right, and now for the next presentation item, we are going to present the winners of the Mayor's Tree Plant Challenge for 2024. Marcy, are you going to kick it off? Okay.
So Mayor Ayu, today we're presenting the awards for the Mayor's Tree Plant Challenge. I provided a script for you if you'd like that lists off the winners, and I have a slideshow that goes along with that. It's a one-page.
There we
you
go.
That's it. Thank you.
All righty, so this is, we have two categories. We have the kids' rule category, and we have the individual category. And for the kids' rule category, there are two awards being presented in this category from a tree planting that took place at Safety Harbor Middle School on November 17th, 2023 as part of the Great American Teach-In. And the names of the two winners are Marcus Riviera Scott, he's a student, so congratulations. And where is Marcus?
Marcus is right
There he is.
here.
Hey, well, he's letting us, do you want to come forward, Marcus?
This is the Star Mare.
I'm sorry?
This is the
Oh, here's this. Okay, I was looking for this. All right. So, Marcus,
What?
you did you did an awesome job with the tree planting. We really appreciate your efforts for this. So, thank you very much. Is that a picture of what you did?
Yeah, I was doing a tree planting, and this pandy found like a dead mole. We found a dead mole.
Okay. You found a dead mole. And what grade are you in?
Sixth at Safety Harbor Middle.
All right, great. How old are you?
Recently turned 13.
All righty. Well, you ready to receive your award?
All right.
And Marcus, before I come down and give you the award, is there anything you'd like to say to us?
Thank you for inviting us.
That's all righty. This is your award right here.
Oh,
And if you'd like to take a picture with me, you want to turn around?
what's this award? A trophy?
It's a trophy for what you did.
A tree planting trophy? I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Okay, you gotta turn around.
You
We're
want
gonna
to
take
turn
a
around and we'll
picture,
take a
okay?
picture?
Turn her all the
We're
way
gonna
around.
have to do a video because I can't.
We
He
can do
likes
it.
videos. I got videos, Mark. You.
If Mr. Bryan were here, I would have used the mag glasses for taking pictures.
All right, that works.
Turn it to the left a little bit.
Back up a little bit.
Okay.
That's where we would.
Smile. Awesome. Good job.
You get one? Good job, buddy. Keep up the
Thank
good work.
you.
Keep letting me see. Thank you very much. All right, so
That's Miss Mohawk over there. Wait, that's Michelle. Mr. Pridham didn't come today. He's here. Hey, Mr. Pridham.
So also in the Kids Roll category, we have an award for the Safety Harbor Middle School, who is represented by Lori Shea. She's a guest teacher. So is Lori here?
Yes.
All right. Do you want to come forward?
Oh, sure. Handing that.
We have, I believe we have Jackie Pandy here, a history teacher.
Where's Miss Annie?
Is he here? Jason Pridham? Do you want to come up? There he is. All right. Brian Evans. Do we have a Brian Evans here? No? And he's not on the list, but I see the school principal back there. You want to come forward? You're you're the principal of the school.
Sure, yes.
You still go by Mr. B?
Yes, I do.
All right. And where's Marcy?
She's right there.
Oh, there you are. So is this a picture of the middle school tree planting?
There's a plaque over there for you.
Yeah, I got the plaque right here. So, all righty. So I'm going to come down and present you all with the plaque for Safety Harbor Middle School's award for the Kids Roll category.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out for this.
Thank you so much for helping us celebrate Marcus.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't see.
We had another category for the individual category is Cameron Bujamitahiri. Did I say that right here?
I don't see him.
I don't think I see him. All right. That next time.
Oh, so I could put you.
All right, so now I have a proclamation for in recognition of Irish American Heritage Month, which is in March. So do we have anyone from the Irish American Heritage group that's here today? Well, thank you for coming out. I'll go ahead and read this, give you a chance to say a few words, and I'll come down and present it to you. Wow, that's small writing there. You have to borrow your glasses. All right, so I think if I need them, I'll grab them. All right, so whereas in 1776, nearly 300,000 Irish nationals had emigrated to the American colonies and played a crucial role in America's war for independence. And 5 signers of the Declaration of Independence were of Irish descent, and 3 signers were Irish-born. And Irish Americans helped to fashion a system of government for our young nation, and 22 presidents have proudly proclaimed their Irish American heritage. And in 1792, Irish-born James Hoban provided the architectural plans for the White House and served as one of the supervising architects for the construction of the Capitol. An Irish-born Commodore John Barry was recognized by the United States Congress in September of 2022 as the first flag officer of the United States Navy. And Commodore John Barry fought the last sea battle of the American Revolution off the coast of Florida. And in 1813, Captain Oliver Perry, an Irish-American, achieved a major naval victory in the Battle of Lake Erie. And in 1942, the five Sullivan brothers made the ultimate sacrifice for democracy and freedom during the naval battle of Guadalcanal, and later had the destroyer USS Sullivan commissioned in their memory. And the Irish first came to Spain, the Irish came to Spanish La Florida in the 1500s, first as missionaries and mercenary soldiers, and then as planters, traders, businessmen, doctors, and administrators. And 3 of the Spanish governors of La Florida were actually Irish military officers. And Richard Arthur, an Irish-born priest from Limerick, who was appointed parish priest of St. Augustine in 1597, in ecclesiastical judge of La Florida, established the first public school in America and opened it to both boys and girls of all races. And Andrew Jackson, whose family came from County Antrim, served as Florida's military governor following its acquisition by the United States. And Irish Americans, since America's inception, have provided and continue to provide leadership and service to this nation's political, business, and religious establishments. And it is fitting and proper to celebrate the rich cultural heritage and the many valuable contributions of Irish Americans. Now, therefore, I, Joe A., Mayor of the City of Safety Harbor, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim March 2024 to be Irish American Heritage Month. So thank you very much for coming out to accept this proclamation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mayor Oya, City Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And on behalf of the Irish American community in Florida, I would like to express my gratitude of kind consideration designating March as Irish American Heritage Month. St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, is without question one of the biggest celebrations of a national day across the globe. Throughout American and Canadian cities, in Ireland, in the United Kingdom, in Germany, Norway and Denmark, Australia and New Zealand, South Korea, Japan, Nigeria, Grenada, and even the Caribbean island of Montserrat, the only other country to declare St. Patrick's Day as a national holiday. People will be celebrating this occasion and proclaiming themselves Irish for the day. The proclamation will coincide with festivities that are currently underway as Irish Americans once again celebrate their heritage throughout the state of Florida. During the month of March, Irish Floridians proudly reflect the legacy of their Irish forebears who have contributed significantly in the areas of education, business, sports, literature, science, engineering, medicine, law enforcement, and the arts. There are just some of the contributions that have been made not only by the Irish, but so many ethnic groups who have come to the United States from 4 corners of the world who have assisted in developing this great country of ours. As a member of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, the largest and oldest Irish organization in the world, tracing its roots back to the 1500s, I would like to acknowledge the esteemed honor Mayor Ayoub and the city commissioners have bestowed on all Irish Americans living within the county and the great state of Florida. Thank you and have a blessing. St. Patrick's Day. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Can you hold this together and stand behind you if you would? It's like you've done this before. Sideways, up, down, a couple of places. Good. Why so many cameras for this one? Because the Archie forgets all, we don't want to lose it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, we have a proclamation in honor of Women's History Month, which is March 1st through March 31st of this year. So is Autumn Pearson here? Sitting right up front. Yeah, please come on up. I'll read this, give you a chance to say a few words, then we'll take a picture with the proclamation.
Sounds great.
And I see you're wearing your special outfit.
I am. This is a replica of Rosie the Riveter, so I thought it was very apropos to wear for tonight.
So now we have the background on that. So again, in recognition of National Women's History Month, whereas during the celebration of National Women's History Month, the City of Safety Harbor celebrates the countless women who have fought tirelessly and courageously for equity, justice, and opportunity in our nation. And women have been on the front lines fighting for and securing equal rights and opportunity throughout our country's history as abolitionists, civil rights leaders, suffragists, and local activists. And women represent more than 171 million Americans across the United States and 53% in the City of Safety Harbor. We're outnumbered. And women throughout history have opened the doors of opportunity for subsequent generations of doers, community leaders, educators, first responders, child care providers, innovators, and more. Whereas we honor the extraordinary contributions made by women despite the systemic barriers they may face, we renew our commitment to liberty and justice for all, to full and equal participation in our economy and society. And now, therefore, I, Joe A., Mayor of the City of Safety Harbor, and on behalf of the entire City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of March as National Women's History Month in the City of Safety Harbor.
Thank you. My name is Autumn Pearson. I'm the Education Director for the Safety Harbor Art and Music Center. And what an honor it is to accept this proclamation on behalf of the Diversity Advocacy Board, which I am a member, and as a woman. We all navigate life as individuals, yet dependent on who we are or whether or not we are part of a marginalized population, our paths might be dramatically different. Based on who we are can affect how we set goals, meet goals, or even acquire basic needs. Speaking as a woman today, we have had a long history of fighting for rights that were automatically given to men. Education rights, property rights, voting, equal pay for equal work. I encourage all of you tonight to consider your privilege, not the privilege that you because of something that you did, or the house that you live in, or the car that you drive, or the food that's on your table, or the money that's in your bank account, but the privilege you were born with. Those privileges of which we have no control vastly determine if your path through life will be smooth or perhaps filled with some challenges. As an educator, it is my top priority to illuminate for young people our personal privilege and to be an ally for those who do not have the same systematic opportunities. Teaching them about using their voice and peaceful actions to ensure equality and respect for all. We are all on a journey, hitting rough and smooth patches along the way. But with awareness and advocacy, it is my dream that everyone can navigate equally and freely as individuals, not based on how we look or how we identify. So as part of Safety Harbor's 53% majority, it is a pleasure to be here to be a woman. And remember, well-behaved women rarely make history. Thank you. You're so welcome. It's an honor. Thank you so much. All right, you too. Thanks, everyone.
All right, so we're going to move to the audience to be heard portion of the meeting. So if there's anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard on an item that's not on the regular agenda or that's on the consent agenda, please come forward, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Nadine Nickerson. I'm a proud board member of Paint Your Heart Out Safety Harbor and have been volunteering with the group for the past 25 years. And I'm happy to announce that on Saturday we painted 6 more houses, so we added a lot of color and raked up a lot of leaves on this past weekend. Joining me are other members of our board. We have Laura, who is our president, Laura Long, and our wonderful artist, Ben Cardoza, and Jake Riley, who is our painter wrangler. And I'd like to present to you tonight the shirts that Ben designed. And I know that Nancy and Matt also painted with us, so thank you a lot. Here. And now Jake is going to talk.
Hi, Jake Riley, 107 Park Street, Safety Harbor. This event has just happened Saturday. It's a one-day event, and it's done by volunteers. It's pretty amazing. They'd love to do it. It takes about 7 months to prepare, and it's pretty awesome to see the preparation, and it's wonderful to see the owners of these houses, the way they're pleased and the way they'd love to see this happen. But we could not do it without our professional painters and sponsors. Florida Protect Painting, John Somas Painting, Chad Jackson Painting, Sunshine Boys Painting, Renovia, Josh Irwin, Don Peer, and with special thanks to Sherwin Williams, who's been outstanding support for us, Point and Pay, Federated Insurance, Bay Area Fence Company, and the Kiwanis Club. We're really proud of what we do for this community, and it is very well received. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay.
Laura Long, 3110 Hillside Lane, actually co-president. My co-president could be here today. And we forgot to thank the city for your yearly annual support. Financially, we couldn't do it without you. Speaking of the Kiwanis, we are working with the city to produce the first ever Safety Harbor Craft Beer Festival. It's going to be presented by our 2 breweries, Crooked Thumb and Troubled Waters. Save the date for October 5th. So, thank you.
Cool. Ben, you got anything, or you just joining the crowd?
He made the shirt.
You made the shirt. Yeah. Well, thank you to all of you and all the people on Paint Your Heart Out, all the volunteers. It's fantastic work you do each and every year and helping those that need it.
Okay, Joe saw me out collecting this yesterday.
Jan Tracy, 1006 Wyndham Way in Safety Harbor, Florida. Otherwise, one of your professional litter picker-uppers in the city. I know there are a lot out there, and a number of the commissioners have seen me out doing my pickups. Yesterday, I did 9th Avenue from Marshall to Main Street. About 40 pounds. About 40 pounds. And think about, there's probably 50, 60 pieces of balloons in there that weigh nothing. Cigarette butts, a lot of plastic bags, forks, empty plastic bottles. I do think most of the litter that I pick up is accidentally blows out of windows in the back of trucks. I don't think people just do it, except for those liquor bottles that people throw so they don't have the proof of what they were doing while they were driving. But I'm proud to do it. I love it. It's a passion of improving my community. It gives me steps, gets me out and enjoys this beautiful Safety Harbor. I also do Main Street from Whistle Stop to McMullen Booth, along with my friend Carol Bauer. And I'd like to tell you that Carol and I won Adoptees of the Year from Keep Pinellas Beautiful this year. And in 3 years, we have picked up 2,089 pounds of litter. That's over a ton. I just think it's kind of amazing how it all adds up, and it's something that we're proud of. And we were proud to win that award because there are a lot of people picking up litter in Pinellas County, and we got it from Safety Harbor. And all of the litter I pick up pretty much is in Safety Harbor, unless I come across a styrofoam cup that just is in my path that I just cannot leave because I know that'll be there forever. I'd like to suggest that the parks ban confetti for parties. I know they have rules, and I'm still picking up blue dots from a year ago, January, at Daisy Park. This weekend, there were hundreds of silver dots. And they come out of balloons, and maybe gender reveals. There are the pink and blue ones that are easy to tell for the gender reveal celebrations. And but these this weekend were silver, and I think they were in balloons that broke because I was picking up lots of pieces of white balloon, and I don't get it. And I don't think people do it intentionally. I think they think they're having fun. But if you just say no confetti, no gender reveals that are going to litter, I think it could go a long way, because I don't think people think about it. I think they set it off, it looks fine. They're not thinking about the mess they're leaving behind and that plastic is there forever. So anyway, that's my suggestion. And also to if you see litter, to everybody, not just the commission, but to anybody listening, which is really my purpose for being here, because I know people watch this on TV and listen to this, and you can do your part too. Pick up the litter outside your house. It's at your curb. If you have a business, pick it up outside where your business is. And if we all do our part, it's just going to be a better world for everybody. So thank you.
Thank you.
Dan, thank you very much. What you do is amazing. And
and I saw Joe yesterday, so I said, oh, I'm going home to see if there's a commission meeting tomorrow. I can bring my litter.
make sure you throw that away now.
Yeah,
thank you. No recycling in here.
Anyone else wish to be heard? All right, so we have one item on the consent agenda. Oh.
Good evening. I'm David Conkle, 3010 Egret Terrace. My wife and I have been residents of Safety Harbor for going on 24 years. I don't have a complaint or anything, but I would like to, in recognition of the state's Irish American month, I would like to give an Irish blessing, which I think would be appropriate and fitting. The blessing goes like this. May those who love us. May those who don't, may God turn their hearts. And if he's unable to turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles so that we'll know them by their limping. And that's my Irish blessing. How many Irish people we have in there?
By their limp. Thank you. Anyone else?
Kevin Labrie, 911 South Bay Shore Boulevard. As you all know, I used to be much more active within the city, expressing my right to share my voice and my opinions on the direction of Safety Harbor. However, that became exceedingly more difficult due to the incessant bullying and harassment by what someone recently termed the Downtown Mean Girls. Ms. Besor, you will know this group is your most vocal, prolific online supporters of your campaigns, current and prior. Of course, we're talking again about Saving Safety Harbor, Shelley Schellenberg and her core team. They will be the ones waving your signs on Election Day. Though things turned a bit more concerning during your last election when you hired a felon. At the forum, you commented that your web person had some trouble. Ms. Besor, he did not get drunk at a wedding. He did not litter on Main Street. He used a truck to intentionally run down a woman on the streets of Safety Harbor and then fled the scene. He was convicted as a felon and spent a year in jail. He was driving Ms. Kelly Barnes' truck. My stomach turns every time I walk by the truck. Your minimization of that trouble was an insult. He was part of the Downtown Mean Girls. He lived with Ms. Barnes at the time of the crime. I imagine they were your connection to him. Just before you hired him, he was harassing the mayor's wife when she posted honeymoon pictures. Since then, many of us have gone silent. We have been robbed of a voice. Elections or any discussion of city matters have become a sham because no one feels safe to contradict you or the rest of the Downtown Mean Girls. Our concerns have migrated from lies and reputation to concerns of our safety. I wouldn't have come today, except for the post by Shelley Schellenberg this weekend, so you can all blame her. Ghosts from elections past, she's calling it. She is bringing back old posts from 2021, sharing old lies about me and a few others, all in order to say we're friends with Scott Long. We are not running for office. People say it's on both sides. Well, only one side brought a felon to the mix. Not sure why my name's coming up now, except I recently broke my silence to point out Haley Ray's poor behavior an hour after the forum. I must have upset the Downtown Mean Girls, AKA Haley's campaign management team. I think that's fair game. She's a candidate, and her behavior and demeanor are important. We should be talking about candidates, truthfully, and issues, and voter records. But instead they choose to harass community members by spreading lies and trying to smear reputations. We are fed up. I should not feel unsafe in my community, all due to ridiculous lies on a site where I am not able to defend myself. So I'm defending myself here tonight. Everyone should be free to have a voice without a fear of retaliation. The involvement of Mr. M in this situation has changed concern about social reputation to concerns about safety. Ms. Besor, your official use of this individual raises concern of your involvement and has significantly raised your responsibility in the situation. The lie-filled post this week from the same vicious group shows the attacks have resumed. Again, we ask you to participate in the solution to this problem. How can we feel safe again? I will share one part of their
Mr.
post.
Labrie.
The people you choose
Mr.
to
Labrie.
associate with are a sizable part of one's reputation. I agree. I don't personally know any felons.
My name is Julie Scott, and I live at 535 3rd Street North here in Safety Harbor. And I'm also appalled by the cruel things that are said on social media. We've got a lot of people who hide behind their computer screens in the dark of their room and say whatever they want. And it takes a lot of bravery to stand up and call out cruelty, especially when you know you're going to pay for it. And that's what's happening here. I'm going to get back to that in a roundabout way in just a second, but I want to talk about how code enforcement in Safety Harbor has become weaponized also on social media. It's pitting people against each other. It's adding to the vitriol in our community. We must find a way for citizens to be able to report code violations, of which there are many, many, many in our city, without having to have their names be public record. Because what's happening is people aren't calling in code enforcement complaints because they're afraid, of course, that they're going to offend their neighbor, they're afraid they're going to offend somebody in the community. They're also afraid that they're going to get called out on social media, which has happened time and time again. And it's happened with Saving Safety Harbor. Shelley Schellenberg and Sharon McCauley have done this over and over again. As a matter of fact, what they brought up this weekend, which was appalling, it was from 2021. It was an out-and-out lie accusing friends of mine of riding around to spot code enforcement violations and calling them in. I mean, that was just like out-and-out, complete and utter lie, said without any fear of repercussion, because how do you defend yourself against that? You try to get back on, you can't go on their website because you're banned. They only have, it's an echo chamber. They say things to each other. I realize that this gets brought up every single election cycle, and the city says there's nothing that they can do about it because it's freedom of speech. People can say what they want. But, Ms. Besor, I'm going to say to you again, because you're running for election, these are people that are supporting you in public, that are calling out for your reelection. And it's your obligation to say to them, do not use my name in such a way. I am not in support of this. I am going to stand up and tell you, don't act like that. Don't use me. It's ethically and morally wrong. And that's who we're asking. It's just inappropriate. And what ends up happening is it reflects back on you. It's you who is hearing these voices and supporting these voices. And I'm asking the city to also help us take a stand against this type of behavior, because it's too much. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor, can I say one thing just for those people watching at home? There's a new state law that requires only in very specific situations there has to be someone identified for a code enforcement complaint. And that's a new state law that went into effect.
2021.
Thank you, Sarah. And so there is a very narrow area to deal with, like public health and safety and some other things. But that's not an option. It's not an option for the city to consider. It's not an option for any city in the state of Florida to consider some anonymous. So we don't control that. So I just wanted to say that because I know people will watch this and that came up. So we need a name.
All right, so moving along to the consent agenda, we just have one item, which is approval of the February 19th meeting minutes. Does anyone want to pull this item? Do we have a motion?
Move approval?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next up is public hearings. We have a adoption or denial of resolution 2024-07. Ms. Johnson, would you like to read that resolution?
Yes.
Thank you.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Safety Harbor, Florida, amending the budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2023, and ending September 30th, 2024, by appropriating general fund contingency fund reserves for Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center building expansion, providing for publication, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
I need exists to amend Victoria Gilly, Finance Director for the City of Safety Harbor. The city is seeking to transfer $200,000 from the contingency and unanticipated expenditure fund reserve to grant funding to the Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center expansion project. The contingency unanticipated expenditure fund reserve has a current balance of $300,000. Staff requests the City Commission adopt or deny the resolution number 2024-07 for grant funding to support the Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center.
Thank you. All right. Any questions?
This is just to follow on budget for what the meeting was last meeting that we approve the additional funds.
Correct. The funds have already been approved. We're just asking for the budget amendment to move the funding to that appropriate area.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Does anyone from the audience wish to be heard on this item? All All right, does anyone have a motion?
I move adoption of resolution number 2024-07, amending the fiscal year 2024 budget for Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center funding.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. All right, moving on to old business, discussion and direction of the city flag design.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. We're going to talk about the flag raising. So at the December 18th, 2023 City Commission meeting, the commissioners reviewed all of the city flag design submissions collected in October. During the meeting, you selected 2 designs that you liked, that you wanted to see some variations of the design. So we were able to contact the designer. He submitted several variations of each of those, and I will show you those tonight, and you can let us know how you want to proceed. So these are the original submissions. These are the 2 that you chose that you wanted to see the variations of. So I don't know if you want me to flip back through any of those, or if you have your packets in front of you, but.
Yeah, they're all in the backup as well. So I know we talked about making a flag, but with this many options, we really need to narrow it down but before we make a flag to show it to you. So I think the first decision is, do you want to go with the bird logo, or do you want to go with the abstract pier logo with the channel markers? So, and then from there you can narrow it down based on that decision.
Just gonna lean back and let you guys have at it.
Let it go, huh? I don't know, I think I'll just kick out, the 2 are very nice. You know, Safety Harbor and having the markers on there. I think that's a nice tie-in. Not that I didn't like the bird, but I guess of the 2 designs, I tended to look at this one. I think 3D was probably my favorite, with the combination of items.
Here. I'm here, I'm there too.
Yeah.
I like the bird at first, but I like the iconic pier. I think it speaks to me, especially with the sunrise.
I just think that the bird is probably the easiest one to see on a flag, but the bird really doesn't, when people think of Safety Harbor, they think of a pier, and I just think to have the pier on a flag that says Safety Harbor, to me, I don't know. There's a state bird. A bird's used in lots of flags, but when you use the pier, I just think it conveys a little bit more about the city than the spoonbill. Is that what that is?
Yes.
I you know, Commissioner Murders picked out D. I mean, I guess you got to look at them and figure out what would stand out most on a flag.
Right.
Because a flag's going to be a little bit different than what we're seeing in front of us. So I mean, I'm okay. I just, with whatever's going to show best on a flag is what I would be a proponent for. Just, I think they all look very reasonably similar, but I guess, color-wise and design-wise, I'm just not, like, that might be too light on a flag, even though it looks nice, but some of the other colors might stand out a little bit more on a flag, but that's just my take. I know Commissioner Diaz is looking at me like he likes a spoonbill.
I like the bird because I think a flag's gonna be outside, right? And of course, it's gonna be looked at from a distance. And I think if you look at that from a distance, with the pier, I don't think you're gonna be able to tell what it is. The only thing you'll be able to see really is City of Safety Harbor, and then you'll see some lines or something like that. But with the bird, you're gonna see something, you'll be able to see it, you'll be able to identify, oh, that's Safety Harbor's flag. That's my thought. I think it's the visual thing. I don't think you'll be able to see that pier from a distance. I think as far as a picture, I think the pier it's a nice abstract picture, but for a flag, you want it kind of flag.
So if it's not windy out, you might not see the bird.
Right. What's that?
It's not gonna be, it's a small spot on the flag, so if the wind's
Well,
not.
then you won't even see the pier.
Who's actually seen the bird? I mean, in a kayak near that little area where the birds nest. Unless you do that.
What's that?
You look at that, you'd almost envision that bird's everywhere.
I see it all the time.
Okay.
There you go.
He probably does. He lives near,
he's
he
like-
lives near the bird
Yeah,
island.
right there. When you make a left, you go to the Parks and Rec, that little pond right there.
Yeah.
They're all in there, so poking their heads in the water. I don't know what they're doing, but.
They're eating.
I think so.
Yes.
They're surviving.
They're attempting to eat, yes. They're not just doing that, just.
Rebecca, I got a question. On the pier one, it looks like there's what looks like our pier in the far distant background. What are the two images closer? Or is that a?
I believe those are docks, like
Is it docks?
from someone's house.
Oh, yeah, the ones in the forefront?
Okay, so those are docks.
Yeah, it's just like an abstract. Those are the docks, and then you're looking towards the pier. And then the
Oh, I see. It's like we're on
and
someone's.
then there's channel markers that are the different colors.
No. I didn't know if those were supposed to be piers also, or just abstract piers, or a dock, or.
Docks, like looking towards the pier. So you're looking from from the south to the north.
Did we discuss just putting our logo on a flag? And I forget what the feedback was on that.
You had the Bitcoin option one. You
It would
guys-
be nice if they would have had just like the Espiritu Santo Springs or something on the flag too, but didn't happen.
Which picture of the flag, of the bird, did you like the best?
I think there was one with some waves behind it, and there was another one with one or the other.
A splash.
Yeah, not that one.
Which did you like the best?
The
That
leaf,
one?
the leaf, or whatever keep on.
The leaf?
That
That
one?
one?
That one or the water. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, we're a city over 100 years old. We have a lot of history. And I think we can do better than be just something that's historical, that whether it ties it, we're known for Mineral Springs, we're known for, the piers, like you need a magnifying glass to see it. I'm not crazy about any of them, but I think we can do better if we're going to have this flag for the next 100 years. Something that really ties in some of our history to the city, so that's just my opinion.
So if they had the springs, the pier,
and the
spoonbill, and a big tree.
And a tree.
Let's see, I was looking at
And a
the
big
seal.
circle.
What about our seal?
The bird in the tree.
Even-
It's in the circle.
Yeah, the seal has it on. It's just, Andy, it's just a different color bird.
Interesting idea.
Why not just use that?
Just put this on
Carlos, would you be happy with that bird? Be acceptable?
We can always ask if the artist can put all those things in a big circle.
Why wouldn't we just use that?
Audience meeting to be heard, I think it's a good time for that.
All right, maybe you're right.
We're just like-
I don't know, I wouldn't mind, honestly, I wouldn't mind asking the artist to try and put everything on there, inclusive. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit sharper than that image.
Yeah.
On a flag, but it would be nice if we could kind of incorporate all Safety Harbor kind of thing versus just one thing over another.
So let me just jump in real quick. So keep in mind, this all started as like a contest for the public to come up with ideas. So we're not paying any artists for any of this. So at some point, if we want them to start designing a flag, there might be a cost, which is fine, we can figure that out. But just kind of keep in mind where we started to where we are. So we can do whatever you want, and we can give them this feedback, but there might be a point in time where the artist says,
Enough.
this isn't fun anymore. Or we might just need to pay someone to design what we want.
All right, so why don't we open this up to the public? Anyone wishes to be heard on the flag design, please come forward, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Cindy Marks, 101 South Bay Shore Boulevard. I grew up here, and I don't remember ever seeing a spoonbill until maybe 20 years ago. I think they come from the south as the temperature is warmed. So I don't think I love spoonbills, but I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Well, thank you.
Probably be better off putting an osprey in there or something.
Osprey, yeah.
Or an owl?
You just call that an osprey.
Owl.
All right, anyone else wish?
Who said there's a spoonbill anyway?
Anyone else wish to be heard? Come on. Help us out here.
Oh, sorry.
Please.
Linda Taylor, 101 South Bay Shore. I think that picture up there is gorgeous to start off with, and somehow it says Safety Harbor, but I don't think I've ever seen this spoonbill. And I agree with what, Carlos, what you were saying. I think the piers, as much as we have a beautiful pier, but from a distance, you wouldn't, I think, be able to really see what you were really intending it to be. But I would vote for something that really depicts Safety Harbor as we know it.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else?
I'll help you out, Mayor.
Thank you.
Just give you some opinions. I was actually really, Jacob Burnett, 536 Fifth Avenue North. I was really attracted to the spoonbill. I think they're really abundant here. But I get what everybody's saying, that it may not be as popular of a bird here as we'd like. I like the idea of the birds on there. I like the redesigns of the background. The pier, while I think that would actually be a really cool picture in my living room, that abstract of the pier, I don't like the idea of looking out through private property onto a flag. We have no control over how that property will advance in the future, and it just may not be an appropriate depiction of our landscape at some point down the road. So I like all of your ideas of incorporating the other elements like the Espiritu Santo Springs and some oak trees and that sort of stuff. So that's me.
Thank you.
I'll help you out a little bit too, but Steve Beam, 346 6th Avenue North. And I mean, graphically, that is much stronger for a flag. I mean, because you have to think of where you see a flag from a distance. And honestly, I do think that the pier is probably more significant and should be shown on a flag, but on the other one, you can barely see it here. And if it's out someplace, you're not even gonna, I mean, it's a difficult read, the pier as it is on the photo. So hopefully, and I kind of go like that one back there as well, so that's it.
Anyone else? Yep. Yeah, come on up.
Julie Scott, 535 3rd Street North. I had no idea that this was a topic of conversation for this long. I knew it was up, but, well, we have Ben Cardoso, who is a fabulous artist. Yeah, he's not here any longer, but that is a suggestion for getting an artistic rendition. We have the Baranoff Oak, which is always such a huge part of Safety Harbor. It's always under discussion. It's one of the iconic figures of Safety Harbor. I just think there's so many things other than a spoonbill or the pier that might be better represented. And I know you're like, oh my God, this topic. But if you're gonna do it right.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, back up to us.
I think we agree we're not there yet. I'm not really willing to vote on either one right now.
I'm not going to fight either.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of us are leaning toward that. Very good.
The Vice Mayor had a point. I don't think you can just take a picture of that, or I'm looking at our actual seal. Something may need to be sharpened up, like to be on a flag, but at least if it resembled the seal, maybe, that's just my opinion, where it incorporates, it's already, what's the difference between a flag and a seal? Aren't they?
There is some legal significance, though, like use of your seal. So you may want something that maybe has those elements but isn't actually the seal, because there are some restrictions on use of your seal, and if you have flags and they're just available, that may be problematic.
Okay.
But we don't have to take any action this evening. Staff will regroup and we'll bring something back to you in the future.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, new business number 1, ordinance 2024-01 on first reading.
Ready? An ordinance of the City of Safety Harbor, Florida, amending Chapter 9 of the Safety Harbor City Code to change the floodplain administrator designee to the Community Development Director, to update definitions and references, require non-conversion acknowledgement, and update substantial improvement, substantial damage determinations for publication in accordance with the requirements of law, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is presented for first reading.
Thank you.
Mayor and Commissioners, tonight before you is ordinance number 2024-01. It's an amendment to the city code to update the floodplain ordinance. Tonight in the audience, we also have Troy Wilcox. He is the floodplain coordinator for the city, and he can answer any technical questions you may have about the draft ordinance. We update the floodplain ordinance every couple of years, and we do this in coordination with the Florida Division of Emergency Management and also Pinellas County. Here's a summary of the changes in the ordinance. We're updating the floodplain administrator from the building official to the community development director or his or her designee. This is because the building official used to be our floodplain coordinator, but in May of 2021, Pinellas County became our building official. So since that time, we've had staff here, other staff fulfilling that role. We are adding a declaration of land restriction, a non-conversion agreement as a required document in certain situations, updating the Florida Building Code reference, and updating definitions for substantial damage, substantial improvement, and market value. One of the changes is to require a declaration of land restriction, non-conversion acknowledgement, where the proposed development will result in enclosure of an area that is greater than 6 feet in height under an elevated building, or construction of an accessory structure that is greater than 100 square feet in floor area. This agreement would be recorded. And what this means is that the enclosed area in these situations can only be used for parking, storage, or access. Before I talk about the changes to definitions, I wanted to mention the substantial improvement and substantial repair of substantial damage determinations. And that is something that we do every time we receive a building permit for a renovation, an addition, or a new structure that's in a special flood hazard area. The floodplain coordinator reviews the estimated market value of the building before the start of the work. Then they compare the cost to perform the improvement to the market value of the structure and make a determination as to whether this constitutes a substantial improvement or repair of substantial damage. If it does constitute one of those, then the permit is subject to flood-resistant construction requirements of the Florida Building Code. In other words, if the improvement is beyond a certain amount, then the structure needs to be the improvement at least needs to be brought up to Florida Building Code requirements for flood-resistant construction. So with that said, we are going to be updating the market value definition to be the just value of the structure as developed by the Pinellas County Property Appraiser. Also, we are modifying the substantial improvement definition to state any combination of repair, construction, rehabilitation, addition, or improvement of a building that's taking place during a rolling one-year period. And we're taking place during the life of the structure. So we're changing the time horizon in which we'll be measuring the substantial improvement. Also, we will say that the cumulative cost will equal 49% of the market value rather than 50%. We're lowering that by 1%. And we will define the rolling period of accumulation for a building or structure begins when the permit for the first improvement is finalized. These are the standards for review of amendments. Staff found that the proposed amendment meets these standards. And this evening, we request that you approve with modifications, or deny the floodplain ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Marcy?
Yeah, a couple. Thank you, Marcy. Since this is a city-initiated ordinance, the source of the wording is county or
We
state
worked
or?
with both the state and the county on different parts of the ordinance. So a market value came from the Pinellas County example. So the reference to the Pinellas County Property Appraiser is the same as Pinellas County. And some of the other definitions we worked with the state on. And Troy's here too. Troy, if you'd like to come up. Thank you.
The driving force behind these, is it legislative or is it indicative of issues that have come up that need clarification?
I'll start with that. Okay. So the change to the substantial improvement definition, I can start at the beginning. The change of the floodplain administrator is because we were referring to the building official throughout the ordinance, and that needs to be more specific to say staff, since they don't work here anymore, we have to change that. Okay. All right. The declaration of land restriction is something that we could earn CRS points for, and so that was probably the main reason that we did that one and are recommending that. But Pinellas County requires that as well. Then the updating of the substantial improvement definition is for several reasons, but the first is that the code indicates that we are tracking improvements to the life of the structure. We don't have records for the life of structures here for Safety Harbor. Residential permits we keep for 10 years, for example. So although we were indicating that we were doing that activity, it's not something that we had been doing, and it's not something that we have the documents to continue doing. So we started to seek other ways of moving forward that would work for the state and also work for the community. So that this language is what we came up with, and they said that it's fine to do that. Pinellas County does that, and it also allows for people to make more improvements to their home.
In two places, the changes from 50% to 49%. The impact of that is, I can understand the impact, but the drive for that, is it hard to find 50-50, or is it, what makes 49 a better number than 50?
It's, excuse me, so the federal law is 50%, and they want you to do better than that, more strict. So we just drop it at 1%, and it helps us with our CRS credit. So it's just a minor thing to do something to get better credit for on the CRS that we just concluded here this last year.
So you have the market value based on the property appraiser?
Yes, you can also, I believe it says in there, you can actually get your own qualified independent appraiser or we'll just use the one from the private appraiser's website. You know, the other one would cost money, of course, to the applicant, so you got your option there.
And then you would just do 49% of that number, and that's the threshold that you have to.
Within a 1-year period,
Within a
correct?
1 year period. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Anyone from the audience wish to be heard on this item? Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve ordinance 2024-01 on first reading.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. New business number 2, we have ordinance 2024-06 on first reading.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Safety Harbor, Florida, amending the infrastructure element of the City of Safety Harbor Comprehensive Plan to update sanitary sewer policies, providing for transmittal to reviewing agencies in accordance with the requirements of the law, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Good
And
evening,
this is-
Zane
sorry,
Hussein.
First reading. Sorry.
Good evening, Zane Hussein, Assistant Community Development Director. First off, it's nice to meet everyone. Glad to be here. I've been with the city for about 4 months now, and my first city commission meeting, so good to meet y'all, and glad to be able to show this ordinance, ordinance 2024-06. This is a city-initiated comprehensive plan amendment, amending the infrastructure element to update sanitary sewer policies. Now, you may ask why. Why are we doing this? So, the Florida legislature recently enacted Chapter 2023-169, Laws of Florida, which amended Section 163.3177 Florida statutes to require local governments to revise sanitary sewer policies and regulations. Now, what is changing in the ordinance? You have 3 major keys that are changing here. First one is the City of Clearwater shall fully implement improvements to the Northeast Advanced Wastewater Treatment Plant to comply with Chapter 2021-168 Laws of Florida to eliminate non-beneficial surface water discharge and continue to upgrade and expand the plant as necessary to meet future needs. The second one is Capital Improvements Program recommendations. Funded and unfunded projects shall include estimated costs, location, and funding revenue source. Work plans and capital improvement projects shall be utilized to complete the 20-year-long service needs and analysis and reported as pursuant to Section 403.9301 Florida statutes. And the third change in the ordinance is the master drainage plan shall implement best management practices to achieve necessary pollutant load reductions pursuant to Section 403.0677 Florida statutes. Now, I don't need to read all this, but as you see, there are 8 standards for the review of the section, of Section 226.03. First 4 and the last 4. Now, the motion as of February 14th, 2024, this same ordinance went before the Planning and Zoning Board, and the Planning and Zoning Board recommended that the City Commission approve this ordinance. Now, tonight you have 3 choices. You have the choice to approve modifications, or deny this ordinance. So you have the vote, and if approved, there's a second vote for adoption on May 6th, 2024. Thank you. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, Zane. Any questions? Welcome to your first meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you go back to the second slide, I think?
The why?
No, I'm sorry.
Changing?
That one, yeah.
Of course.
The number 2, the capital improvement, it talks about work plans, capital improvement projects will be utilized to complete 20-year-long service needs and analysis.
Correct.
I guess my assumption is that 20-year-long service needs would take into account sustainability and resiliency evaluations. Is that true?
Sustainability of the capital improvement project?
Of the overall project, right? And
correct, that will be a part of that.
That'll be part of that.
Yes.
Same thing with future resiliency might need.
Over the course of 20 years.
Over that course of that 20 years.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay.
So the new Florida statute, does it address specifically the city of Clearwater?
That is one part of the ordinance, correct, so that is one amended change in there. And I believe,
No, I'm talking about the Florida statute, not necessarily the ordinance we're dealing with. Maybe I misunderstood.
So no, it requires that we address the topic, and then the city of Clearwater manages that area for us. So that's why we're referencing their plant.
Gotcha. And if there's an ordinance change, will it affect, if they're going to update or comply with number one, will it require, I guess, an additional cost to the city of Safety Harbor to implement that?
I'm sure. Yeah.
So if we're going to require Clearwater to take action,
Well, they have to do it as well. They're gonna have to do it as well, and
regardless of whether we adopt the ordinance?
yeah, they're required to follow the same state statute, so they're going to have to do it, and we pay roughly 33% of
Whatever they
incur, the costs of operating the plant. And we have 33% of the capacity, even though we're not using.
So I guess my question is, so we're, essentially, the ordinance is gonna mirror what language the statute, the new state statute is putting into an effect?
That's right.
Okay.
And that's the whole reason, that's the whole purpose, yeah.
And there will be a future land development code amendment, and at that time, we certainly can reach out to the city of Clearwater and check to see if they had any information that they'd like to share at that time.
Right. Have we looked at the cost analysis on what this may, the additional cost that?
No, it talks more about about how you can do water discharge. And right now, they're doing water discharge into the bay. And then there was some talk years ago about doing the well injections as well. So.
We're not there yet.
No. And we could, we don't have many options in terms of where we're going to send all of our wastewater to be treated.
Like we don't have an option.
Well, we don't have a second option. We'd have to create one. We'd have to either partner with another city, and then we'd have to pipe it there.
Right.
Or we would have to pipe it to somewhere in the city and create our own plant.
Gotcha. Okay.
I thought it was interesting in policy 118 that it corrects existing deficiencies, provides for service area extensions, reduce the number of active septic systems, which is something that we've talked about for a long time and obviously goes hand in hand with quality of the bay issues and stuff like that. So there's always been issues about adding more, removing septic tanks and costs associated with it, but so long as there's a process here where we're doing a cost estimate as part of this process, we'll be able to see how expensive that is to do.
We would need outside funding to help. We would need state funding or some sort of outside funding. And there's a couple neighborhoods that are very close to the bay that are still on septic, so.
Yeah, we've had those discussions over the years about that, and it's definitely a pricey process, but ultimately a needed one.
And every time that one goes down and needs costly repairs, that's when we get the call from that resident. But the other 100 residents in that subdivision aren't calling us at the same time. So it's tough. And not that we would be able to share the costs equally between the 100 residents either. They wouldn't be able to, if we were to extend sewer, and it's a lower area too, so you're going to have to add a lift station, you're going to have to add pipes. I mean, it's multi-million-dollar project. Well, maybe not multi-million-dollar project.
But it rolls into the sustainability, resiliency, the cost estimates and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's all long-term issues with sea level rise and such.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, any more questions for Zane? All right, this this is a public meeting. Does anyone else wish to be heard on ordinance 2024-06? Do we have a motion?
I'll
Move approval.
Go ahead.
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-06 on first reading.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. So last new business item is we need to appoint one member to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Thank you, Mayor. The term of Stephanie Lane as a regular member expired in February. She has requested appointment for additional 2-year term. She's only missed one meeting over the past 12 months. We do have one alternate, Michelle Brennan, and we have not received any other applications. It is requested the commission appoint one regular member to the board.
I would like to move to appoint Stephanie Lane back as a regular member.
Second.
All right, anyone from the audience who should be heard on this? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next up, we have commission reports. Commissioner Diaz.
All right. So the first thing is just FYI, the property over on South Bay Shore, the one that we had in here discussing the liens, is up for sale. And I think they got a contract, for $7.5 million.
It's under contract?
Yeah, it's under contract, supposedly. That's the rumor. But anyway, it's just another thing, another little tidbit on my theory, that the only time they really come in here is when they gotta sell the house, refinance, or else they would have never have modified they would have kept that basketball court there, for eternity, or until they sold. But anyway, today is my first, the first start of business in the harbor, like we talked about last week.
Okay.
Okay, you guys all had assignments, remember? No.
Homework.
I'll take the first one. So basically, what I'm trying to do is really just kind of talk about one of your favorite businesses in Safety Harbor. One of my favorite businesses is the Stuffed Mushroom. Stuffed Mushroom has been in Safety Harbor now for celebrating its 25th year. They're actually in front. They're over there, catty corner on 825 Main Street. They are a caterer and a retailer. Incredible caterer. They have catered for us. They've been here 25 years. I've lived here for 22, 23 years, something like that. They've catered birthdays, Christmas, Easter, all types of parties for us. Incredible service. The staff is incredible. The staff over the years have become almost family members to us. We've had them over so many times. But the Stuffed Mushroom is owned by Betsy Bird. They're an award-winning caterer serving Tampa Bay. And since 2016, they have given unique and inspired gifts at their retail shop. They do retail, residential, and social events, range anywhere from 25 to 200 people. So they're been in here. They're very, very one of the jewels, one of the best businesses here, because not only do they serve Safety Harbor, but they go as far down as Manatee County. I've seen them down there, and I've been surprised. I've walked in, I'm like, what's going on here? The Stuffed Mushroom is there. But they go all over the Tampa Bay area. My favorite, personally, is obviously beef tenderloin with some pork, some black beans and rice,
Oh, my goodness.
little Cuban. They do a variety of stuff. Obviously, all kinds of foods, but they're unbelievable.
Making me hungry.
So that's all I got.
Well, thank you. What time are they open till?
It's adjourn and go.
Yeah. All right, Commissioner Mers.
Thank you, Joe. Just a couple, spring breaks coming up. Please be aware, kids will be out, people in the community, things going on. A lot more activities, people coming back from school. Nice, usually bustling time. Just keep your eyes out. And just a note, it's about 2 weeks away from our election. I can't tell you how important the election is. It's
always important. Sometimes you hear about people that feel that they're not going to vote, or the vote doesn't count, or all kinds of various things like that. But I found that there's nothing farther from the truth. Your vote is important. Everybody's vote's important. Regardless of what your position is, you should vote and be active. I know some of the votes are for this seat, and I can tell you how much pride I've had in that 4 terms. And you want to have an active role in who sits in those seats. So please, if you're considering not voting, please reconsider, because it's important to get that out there. And if you're looking for background, there was an excellent debate that was done early in February, and I've reviewed it. I wasn't able to be at it because of business issues, but I've reviewed it. It was excellently done. All the candidates, I thought, presented themselves very well. The questions were done well. It gives a good indication of the people themselves. So you can access it from the city website. I think it's very good. Give you a little bit more depth of the information that you can find from people. So, but please vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, so everything's going great with the pickleball courts. People love it. I'm getting information back. Here we go. Just a suggestion, because I think what's going to happen is we're going to have overflow, because there's going to be a lot of people that want to play that can't get out there to play. So a suggestion might be, because there are a lot of people out there with their own nets, so a suggestion might be to take some of the basketball court areas we have throughout the city, whether it's North City Park, whether it's over Daisy Douglas, and just paint the paint some I guess pickleball court areas out there, so people can bring their own net. In the event there's overflow, since we're not going to be building any more pickleball courts in this city, but that would just conveying that over time, that may end up.
We can look at that.
happen.
North City has the lines, I believe, but we can look at the other ones.
Okay, just a suggestion. You know, it's funny, I wrote my reports up before tonight's meeting, and I actually saw Jan cleaning up, because I see her all the time cleaning up, because she lives right around the corner from me. So I actually was gonna thank her for, I mean, she's always out there cleaning up, kind of like Joe Casey.
Yeah.
Always, and you got Tom picking up cans and bottles. Again, kudos to those in Safety Harbor who kind of make this place shine, pick up. They're out there volunteering on their own, picking up. So thank you for making the city look great. I almost had a run-in with a golf cart at the four-way here, so I think my vehicle would have won. But my suggestion is, if you're operating a low-speed vehicle or a golf cart, please obey the traffic laws throughout the city of Safety Harbor. Literally, I stopped, began to go, headed home. This is last night. Head home. There was a golf cart to my right, just ran right through the stop sign, right in front of me. I slammed my brakes. What's that?
They went on MLK and
Yeah. So, again, I think a car is going to prevail over a low-speed vehicle. So it's, I hate to be in an accident, but just suggest if you're operating a golf cart, low-speed vehicle, comply with the rules of the road. And it is election time. Nasty things happen during election time, but I got to tell you, for those who got up and spoke during the audience to be heard, Nancy doesn't have a mean bone in her body. There are those who may be supporting her. There are those who have supported me. I'm sure there's those who supported other candidates out there who have run for election. We can't control the temperament of all those who support you for an election. The candidates have their hands tied. There was an issue when I was running years ago where one of my supporters showed up at Commissioner Diaz's event, I think, and it got back to me, and I had to sever ties with that person. It's embarrassing. There's not a whole lot we can do. But I will tell you, I've run quite a few times here in the city of Safety Harbor, as well as some of the other commissioners and mayor up here. And they'll all tell you, Nancy doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's the nicest, delightful person. I'm not trying to campaign for her, but I'll tell you, you know, you're picking on her a little bit this evening, I think was a little bit unfair. You're picking on her supporters, that's fine. You know, they deserve to be, you know, knocked down a little bit if they're out of control or out of hand, but Nancy herself, she wouldn't put up with that. So I just wanted to bring that up. It is election season and things do happen. Unfortunately, we've all been through it. A lot of people don't like or gotten disinvolved because of all the nastiness that goes on. And again, I'm thankful that I'm not having to run again this time. Probably the first time ever. I think this would be my 9th election. This is the first time I've not run for re-election or election. So I certainly feel for all the candidates and what they go through, and sometimes feel that it can't be done and over with fast enough so we can get down to business and do the people's business here in the city. So just wanted to add that, and reminder to get out and vote. We still have, I think, one more commission meeting before the election, but it's important to get out and vote. Vote absentee ballot, vote in person, just get out to vote. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. And I was all ready to make a very unemotional response, and now my voice is going to shake because I'm so appreciative of what you said. And I'd like to just address one of the issues that came at me tonight, and that is about the person who got into trouble after making my website. That person got into trouble after my website design. I didn't go seek out somebody who tried to do something evil with his vehicle. That is, as Commissioner Vice Mayor Steingold said, not me. That is not how I operate. I used to have Al Mykoff. Some of you might remember Al. He lived at Baytown. He was a World War II vet, and he was my computer expert. He knew everything, and he set me up 2009, I think, with a website. And I think he probably even helped me when I tried to run for mayor. And then he died, and I don't know anything. I barely look at my computer. I am as close to Commissioner Merce as possible with all of that complexity. So 2018, somebody approached me and said, you have to have a website. And I said, I don't know anything about a website. Well, here, we'll give you a contact. So I had a website made. And that appeared on my financial report. And what I said at the forum is that I'm going totally basic this time. I'm taking no contributions. I don't, as far as I'm concerned, I really don't have supporters. I'm just going with my 86-year-old friend who's been a trooper since '09 with me, a friend of the library friend, and we're just knocking doors saying, vote for me, with a picture that my brother says is just terribly outdated. He said, you look like you're in 6th grade, but that is, again, my lack of complexity. I just said to the printer, use what you have, and ooh, okay, so I look a little young. But the man who got in trouble. I looked him up, I just Googled him. The earliest I could find is 2020. So again, I didn't know these problems. And when someone was shouting at me at the park on the bicycle, that's what I said at the forum. I was just horrified. I thought, why are you shouting this man's name? And then I asked Mr. Sporer or someone what happened, and somebody told me. So no, I didn't hire a felon. And I want to tell you one more story about another election. I was running against my current opponent and 3 other men, I think, or 2 other men. Yeah, there were 3 guys and myself. And people, supporters were telling me, you need to go with the women, go with the women. We need your sign. We need to post you up places with the women. And I said, please stop. You threw me to the curb in 2014, and now I'm by myself in 18. But somebody took a box, a good friend of mine, really, took a box and in red marker wrote my information, Nancy Bezoar, candidate, and put it with the other women, sort of posted me as though my head was on a stake at Bayshore. And that seriously lost me probably 100 votes, because I would knock on doors and guys would say, what am I supposed to tell my son? Vote for the women. So I was a victim of my friend's enthusiasm. He just couldn't stop, even though he didn't get my sign. So I know social media things are happening out there because people tell me, I'll go into a restaurant and people will tell me, I'm not going to that restaurant anymore because of such and so. And my response is stand back, stop it. Don't not eat. You know how I love to eat. Don't not eat somewhere because somebody is getting into this political thing. Don't do this. This is not what Safety Harbor is. And so I just said, our strength is as the strength of 10, one of my professors used to say, because our hearts are pure. And I don't know if he stole that from somebody, but it's a good way to look at it. I didn't do it. I'm not going to go on to social media and protest because it's public record. I'm a public figure. I can't even really say anything about the attacks on me tonight because I asked for this. I want to serve you. I love Safety Harbor, and I feel I have something to offer. So no, I'm not going to go make a disclaimer. No, I'm not taking checks from anybody. I'm not walking with anybody. I'm not asking anybody to wave signs. Of this crew, of this social media crew, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why we're fighting elections from the past. I was not in that. You see, I got pushed in 2014, and I think that was a real blessing because I wasn't involved in a lot of the things that happened to people. I just wasn't. So I don't have the same hatred. I don't look at Joe and I just don't. I don't have that hatred in my heart. It's just not here. Now the good, basic information. I always talk about junk in the trunk. Tony Esposito would not forgive me if I didn't talk about the junk in the trunk event. I got a frying pan that I think is this big. That is on Facebook. It was a lodge. It's beautiful. Some residents just offered it for $25, and I snatched up that sucker. I got the little one too, and I made French toast. I'm not a cook, but it turned out beautifully on that cast iron. I painted my heart out. I did not go to the event before. I decided I needed to take care of my mother. I've had to balance, and so I took care of her, and then I went and I helped paint. And something really good came to me because ProTech has Ed as the owner, and he and I started talking, and I said something about my John Such and being deceased, and he said, I knew John so well. He said, when I first came to this country as an immigrant, an Albanian immigrant, Pat Daly hired me, and Pat Daly was John's employer for the Daly Group, and he said, I want to volunteer when Pat looked for volunteers to paint. And so he said, I did, and he said, I knew you're John. So I had that. That's what I call connections. I had that person talk to me about my deceased loved one, and I wouldn't have had that if I hadn't gone out to paint your heart out. So thank you, board, for offering that activity to us. I appreciate you so much. And then I want to talk about the fest. I did get to the fest, and I did get this necklace, and it is clay, and it's just a beautiful, shiny little piece. And I did walk around, and I did enjoy myself, and I didn't think it wasn't too crowded for me. It was just beautiful. I just loved it. And so thank you for those who put that on this weekend. And I also wanted to say that 3,114 people have either gone to Clearwater Courthouse or Starkey Road. I called the SOE, the Supervisor of Elections, today, and they were able to run a scan and just of Safety Harbor voters. They, of course, wouldn't tell me who voted for whom, but 3,114 people, that's a great start. And I have to tease Vice Mayor Steingold because I Google mapped Starkey versus Clearwater, and Starkey's 3 miles farther away and only about 10 minutes farther away. So you had thought that Starkey was much more difficult, maybe by an hour. But
yeah, I'd rather go downtown.
Yeah, it's just 3 miles. So you can go to either place, but March 9th, and correct me if I'm wrong, but March 9th, you'll be able to go to the library and you'll be able to vote, and I think get your sticker because they have early voting. The 9th.
Oh, 9th. They open up.
Excuse me,
early.
they open up, but they're not doing it the 18th, and they're not doing it the 19th, actual voting day. So, yes, that concludes my report. Thank you.
You missed one. You left one for me.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you, everyone. I just wanted to, when you talked about the fest, I assume you're talking about the Seafood Festival.
Yes.
So I do want to thank the Safety Harbor Chamber of Commerce for putting on an amazing event. It was packed Saturday, Sunday. We got lucky with some amazing weather. I want to thank all the volunteers that were out there helping out. There was some great live music. The vendors were great, and I had the opportunity to judge a taco contest to see the best taco. And It was me and 2 other people, and they just brought us all these delicious tacos to eat, and it's
Was it seafood?
Seafood tacos, yes, they were seafood tacos. I should have clarified that. Seafood
There's
tacos.
a lot of non-seafood out there.
Yeah, they were, and so we had fun doing that. And I also want to say we had the opportunity to go to the ribbon cutting for the addition for the Maddie Williams. See, you left me one for the Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center, and a lot of volunteers out there. The board members were out there. Charlie Justice from Pinellas County Commission was out there because the county put a lot of money in, and it was a nice event, and I think it's going to be a good addition and serve the community and those in need well. Get out and vote, and Matt?
Real quick, on Monday, March 25th, we are going to have a board and committee open house here, right here in this room at 6 p.m. So if you're a resident of Safety Harbor and you want to learn more about our boards and committees, please come and join us, and we'll have a quick discussion. And on that note, I will be adding, when we do your goal setting in April, I'll be adding a little comment in the agenda for you to possibly consider and think about changing the term limits for boards and committees, maybe adding another term or taking it off some boards altogether. And the reason I say that is because over the last, I don't know, year, as you go to reappoint these individuals, you're seeing less and less applicants, and we're trying to get more and more applicants. And then you're also seeing board and committee members who are asking to be reappointed even though their terms, their term limited out. So it's going to be increasingly more difficult to get volunteers. They are volunteers. Remember, they're just volunteers. They're not being paid for their service. They're residents of Safety Harbor who are volunteering and want to serve on these boards and committees. And so maybe consider some of them, or all of them, either eliminating or changing the number of terms that they can serve, only so that we can have them serve longer. Some will not ask to be reappointed because some have said that that's the rule and they're termed out and they're just going to step away. So we're having, and we have vacancies right now on some boards. So just keep that in mind. That's all I have.
You, Sarah?
Nothing this evening.
No. Did you want to talk about the potato?
No, you don't like me to go twice.
No, you can
But
go.
you should.
I'm not articulate enough to talk about the potato unless you want to.
We each got a bag, and the bag came from Leisure Services, and inside they said, please enjoy these sweet potatoes grown at the Elm Street Garden, compliments of the Summer Teen Leader Program. They planted them in May 23. The summer teen leaders cultivated the plants, nurtured through the summer with staff harvesting in January 2024, and completed curing 3 weeks in February 2024. They're ready to eat. And this is just a small sample of the possibilities of what the Elm Street property can attain to keep Safety Harbor growing. So I see sweet potato fries in the future in that big frying pan. I know. You can probably even make Cuban sweet potato fries. Yes, you can. You add a little spice. Yeah.
Potatoes don't exist.
No? Really? Okay. Sorry. Thanks, Mayor. And thank you, Leisure Services.
Thank you all. Meeting's adjourned.
I believe Cuba can't grow sweet potatoes. That's going to be a Google.
I meant you.